My head above water, like the tried to feel in my bones, but you had to lie about what you needed. It's all the sky. Trying to pull me under, you're lost at sea. Do you ever wonder what you want from me? I keep my head underground. I keep my sorrows locked in the sound. I know where I am supposed to go.
When I started writing Dear Demons, it was almost immediately after we put out Ghost of You. We had played our first sold-out show and got offered to play music festivals I never even dreamt of playing.
I see the time, but it's a blur.
As a band, we were just on an all-time high, and in the midst of all this, I got a call from a distant relative, and they said, "Kenzie, your dad has some serious charges against him. He's been arrested. It's all over the news. You need to prepare yourself." The news did a lot of coverage of his trial, and it seemed like every time I turned around, I was just being faced with his case. He was facing life in prison, and it was a lot to process. I just left my job and I was focusing on music full-time, so I just started writing, which was pretty ideal. I didn't want to leave the house, and I wrote about 100 songs in the course of 2 years. As I was writing, memories from my childhood were coming back to me for the first time in my adult life, and I wasn't sure how I felt about that. But that's the thing about music, when a song wants to come out, it just does. Growing up, my dad would have these anger episodes, and there were times where we weren't sure if we would survive. The police were called and child services got involved, but nothing ever came of it. When I was 10, my mom took my sister and I, and we left. I buried the past deep as I could, and I did my best to move on. My dad's case, combined with a deep focus on writing music, made it virtually impossible for me to forget my past any longer. I was forced to merge two parts of my reality together, who I knew my dad to be and who I pretended he was. But I was a recluse, barely seeing people, swallowed in the pain. I was in a really dark and scary place. I wanted to be stronger than I was, more positive and hopeful and peaceful, but the truth was, the more I wrote, the angrier I became. I was so angry. Angry at my friends for not understanding, at my family for not knowing how to react, angry at God for allowing this to happen to me. I was fighting so hard to find meaning in all this chaos and pain. As I was writing and revisiting parts of myself I'd honestly just hoped had disappeared, I started believing that going back through the pain was how I was going to overcome it. But I didn't see how it was helping. I felt horrible. I was fighting so hard, and even though the music was motivating me, the anger was pulling me back into places I'd worked a whole lifetime to escape. so discouraged while writing and during the demoing process. I was so lost in my own pain. I wasn't really sleeping. So I would actually fall asleep as we were demoing a lot and the guys were recording their parts. They would wake me up when we were deciding on what take to use. Then through amp feedback and screaming guitars, I'd somehow manage to drift back to sleep. There was something so comforting about the process for me, and I think at the time, that was one of the only places I felt truly at peace.
Does it hurt you now that it's all around? There's no escape, it never was for me. You heard guys late into the night.
Everything was just too real. My dad's case was always hanging over my head, my depression was suffocating. I never thought I would be positive enough to find a way out. My only lifeline was my faith. I had to believe it was going to get better, that it wasn't all for nothing. I used to take these long runs where I'd listen back to the songs we were demoing in the studio to try to clear my head and think about what I liked or I wanted to change. I would also process a lot of what was going on in my life during those runs. And I remember on one of them thinking to myself, I'm just running in circles. I can't outrun this, the pain is too deep, the trauma's too real, and this unbelievable anger boiled up inside of me, and I realized I wasn't running away anymore. I wasn't remembering to be afraid all over again. I was here to learn where my demons hide. I realized what I used to run from, I was now running towards. I wanted them to be scared the same way I was. That was a turning point. My PTSD makes me feel like I'm in other places than where I am, and in that moment, as I was listening to the demo of Sympathize, I felt as if I was staring my demons right in the face. I remember I started to smile and I even laughed a little, and I announced to myself and to them that I wasn't going to hide anymore, that I was going to do everything I could to expose evil in the darkness. All the anger I thought was working against me was actually just pointing me in the wrong direction. There's a lyric in Tongue Tied. The chaos I hold within me will burn the cage to free me, which is about realizing the pain and the craziness I had inside of me could actually motivate me to fight off the darkness. I eventually made the decision to get help. I found a group that allowed me to confront what I was feeling with other people who could support me. I started to realize that pain and joy can live at peace with one another if you can find the strength to have faith. The weight began to feel more manageable, and instead of feeling like I was going in circles, I felt like I had a direction. I started to understand it wasn't all about me. I wasn't going through all this just so I could feel better again. I wanted to help others to find clarity and find a way out. Dear Demons dives into some really dark places, but it's all about bringing light into the darkness. Through writing the EP, I thought I was learning about myself, but really I was learning about my demons. I was being coached in the darkness about evil to bring light and good into those places. You don't have to live in the light to be a light. Through writing Dear Demons, I was so stuck in my own problems because demons will confuse you into fighting anything but them. I fought myself and everyone I loved. I was raised by someone who promised to love and protect me and did nothing but hurt me. I really just want to inspire people to keep fighting. Don't give up. I don't care how dark it gets. You can learn to see in the dark if you have enough faith. I've learned where evil hides. Dear Demons, coming for you.